you did leave California. It got bad enough. I mean, we've been covering the troubles there a lot. We had your friends from All In on the podcast to talk about the recall effort of Chesa Boudin, somebody I've been covering for a long time after I interviewed his essentially adoptive father, Bill Ayers, in what remains my very favorite interview I've ever done. And that includes Vladimir Putin, and you can go down the list, okay? So San Francisco did the right thing, and they got rid of this non-prosecutor, Chesa Boudin. And you did the right thing by just getting out of a town that wasn't aligned with you and wasn't heading anyplace good. And you ultimately came to think that was true professionally, too, because, you know, those are two different things, potentially. And so what do you make of your newfound state, your current governor, Ron DeSantis, and the latest attack on Florida and DeSantis from your old governor, Gavin Newsom, who clearly is trying to generate some buzz around himself for 2024 by saying California is the state of freedom and Florida's not?
You know, Florida's wonderful. Super happy to be in paradise in Miami every day. Couldn't be more thrilled with the decision. Everybody we've moved here, helped move professionally, socially from California or New York to Miami is extremely happy. Almost every single person that I know that's moved here has now purchased a home. Some of them started initially and rented, but they've all bought, which means they're happy, thrilled, want to build a family here. Gavin's pretty desperate, as you might know. 200,000 people, a net 200,000 people left California for Florida last year. California's lost population for the first time since 1850s, losing congressional seats for the first time ever in history. Running a TV commercial is not going to help with that. It's a third world country being run by a third world dictator with third world policies. You can't gloss over that on TV. Nobody's going to move from Florida to California. All they're going to do is call up somebody they know professionally or socially and ask them what's it like to live in California. And they're going to hear tales of, unabated drug use, property crime, homelessness, impossibility of building commercial and residential real estate, defunding police, like everything that's stupid, removing standardized tests, not teaching algebra. Every stupid policy in the world is being implemented in California.
I know he raises the issue of, the alleged Don't Say Gay bill down in Florida. This is what his side is all up in arms about, which is a lie of a name. It's just you can't get into sexual identity or gender identity at a very young age in curriculum. That's what the bill said. The law says in curriculum. All this, like, you cannot have the picture of your same-sex spouse on your desk is a lie. And anybody who's implementing the policy that way ought to be held to account because it's not consistent with the words of the law, which say in curriculum, you can't have that stuff. But meanwhile, California, we've done stories on how you can leave California during the school day to go get cross-gender hormones on school time, and they will not tell your parents. They think the parents' rights end at the schoolhouse door. Abigail Schreier's done a great job of documenting this. If that's their idea of freedom, they're going to lose a lot more votes than they're going to gain with this kind of campaign.
Well, they're going to lose a lot of votes because people want their schools to be open. California shut down all the schools, so nobody learned anything. Kids sacrificed 2 years of their educational future, and that compounds. Unlike in other states, Miami, for example, people were back in school very fast. Kids learned, and they're not falling behind. Sweden, they never shut down the classes, and the kids in Sweden haven't shown any decay due to COVID. So California basically sentenced the whole generation of Californians to a life of misery, really, because if you fall 2 years behind in education, you're never going to catch up. And parents are just furious. And so you saw this in Virginia. The Virginia elections were all about people revolting against the powers of the teacher union, conspiring with politicians to shut down schools. And so Gavin is the most guilty person on the planet in enabling this.
Yeah. I mean, he was mayor of San Francisco. That's the town that not only recalled Chesa Boudin, but recalled 3 of their school board members for this nonsense, for worrying about renaming the Abraham Lincoln School instead of opening the damn classrooms so children could learn. But meanwhile, I know you do like DeSantis. You are, as we discussed, a conservative. So what do you make of the, we believe, coming battle between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis for the next GOP nomination?
Well, as you know, I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I think, the original funder for the Never Trump, sort of campaign. So I grew up in New Jersey, New York, and in the 80s, and Trump was this radio talk show host, sort of. And so I kind of knew he was kind of sociopathic and, very unreliable. And it was pretty obvious, like the personality traits, they don't change like after 50, 60 years, or in his case, 70. And so, what we saw as president was completely predictable. In fact, I had this tweet on July 4th, I believe, 2016. So before he was elected, that he was going to get impeached by the House of Representatives. It was so obvious that was going to happen. I actually thought, it was like, in most of the stuff that happened was completely inevitable.
But even you couldn't have foreseen two impeachments. I mean, that was a lot, even for the Democrats.
I only got one. Sorry, but in any event, so I've never been a fan of his. I do think he actually had some policies that were quite good, like moving the embassy in Israel was actually a wonderful policy. I believe strongly in a lot of his Supreme Court and judicial nominees. So I think there's a lot of things he did well. I think actually, unfortunately, he lowered corporate tax rates, which is probably a mistake at the expense of lowering individual tax rates. So I think that was a disaster, politically and substantively. So I think there's things that can be improved. And I think DeSantis is a great politician. He's 43 years old, which I think America needs a younger politician, period. Beside party. We just have too many old people running the country. In technology, I'm getting old and towards the end of my career, and I would be extremely young by the standards of politics. I have a classmate from law school who's in the U.S. Senate, and he mentioned, as I say, I'm getting old in technology. He's in the bottom 20% in terms of age, in the U.S. Senate. But that's absurd. We need people who have fresh leadership, fresh ideas, and are, more in tune with where the future is going. And so someone in their 40s would be much more exciting, I think, for either party to nominate.
Summer's here, and what better time is there to whip out the barbecue and grill up some steaks? Good Ranchers is the place to get American beef, chicken, and seafood. They sell 100% American meat, and they ship it straight to your door. And right now, Good Ranchers is ready to send you 2 free prime ribeye steaks with every order that uses my code Megyn. Other places would charge you well over $50, even $60 a steak to get ribeyes like these, but Good Ranchers is giving them to you for free when you go to goodranchers.com/MEGYN. This is not the time to wait. Claim your ribeyes today before they run out. It is a limited stock item. First come, first served, and you want to be first when it comes to Good Ranchers. They deliver the best of American farms and ranches right to your door. Make sure you take time today. Right now, go to goodranchers.com/Megyn or use my code Megyn at checkout to get your 2 free 18-ounce ribeyes. Start the summer off right with Good Ranchers. American meat delivered. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.